Hello, this is a tutorial on how to set up your paper in APA style when using Office 365 version of Word. This is the cloud-based version of Word. So to begin with, you will need to put in the header space the page number in the upper right-hand corner. To do that, go to the toolbar, click Insert, and then over toward the right on page numbers, choose the option that puts the page number on the right side. You'll see the formula for it, and that's great. Just click underneath or back on the main page to get out of that header space. You'll see the header listed here, but you can't see the page number unless you go to View and go to Reading View. And then you can see how your paper will actually look. You can't type in the Reading View, so you always have to go back to the Edit View to actually write on your paper. Okay, so we have our header, and now we need the title page. The title page information will be centered, so go up to your alignment drop down and choose Align Center. It also needs to be in bold for the first line, so you'll change that. And it also needs to be double spaced. To get to double spacing, go all the way to the right where you see 3 dots that says More Options and choose Line Spacing 2. Now, to begin your title page, you need to be about a third of the way down the page, and with your spacing set to double space, hit Enter 3 times. And now you're ready to type the title of your essay. That should be in title case, which means you capitalize the first letter of all important words. To get to the next line, you are actually going to hit Enter 2 times to provide extra blank space between the title and the rest of the information. And then take your font off of bold. Next comes the author, which would be the student name. Hit Enter and put the institution, which would be English Department, comma, Delaware Technical Community College. Hit Enter. Then the course, English 101, colon, space, critical thinking, and academic writing. Then hit Enter and put your instructor's name with or without a title, depending on the preference of your instructor. And then finally, the date. All right, and then you need to go to this next page to begin typing your essay. One way to do that is to just hit Enter until you get to the top of the next page, but another way is to go to Insert and click Page Break. And now you know you're at the top of the second page. Here you will repeat the title of your essay in bold font and hit Enter. Take font off bold and change your alignment to left. Be sure to hit the Tab key to indent the first line of each paragraph of your essay, and then you can begin to type your essay. Once you are done typing your essay, again, I would suggest that you use the Insert Page Break, and that will make sure that your references page will begin at the top of a new page. I would not recommend using Page Break between pages within your essay, because if you add things to your essay, it could make things not work properly and you could have some awkward spaces. But using the page break after the title page and at the end of your essay before you begin the references page is a good idea. Okay, for the references, you are going to be at the top of the page. You will need to center, so change your alignment to center. You'll need to be back on bold font, and you'll type the word references. Once you've hit Enter, change your alignment to left and take your font off of bold. Now you need to set up the hanging indent. To do that, you will go over to the three dots where it says More Options and choose Special Indent and choose Hanging. Now you're ready to begin typing your entry. And I'm just going to go through this very quickly. There will be other lessons on the details and the nuances of a references page. But basically, you're going to start with your author's name. So I've got this one by Nick Morrison, and I've got this one by College Study Smarts. So we're going to start with this one. So this article does not have a specific author. It's a web article from College Study Smarts. So that would be my author. So I'm going to start by writing College Study Smarts, period, space, and then I'm going to look for my date. And I don't think this one has a date. Don't use a copyright date, but if you see something that says when this was created or updated, that would work. Oh, we do have the author, Jessica Shields. Okay. We have some comments, but those can't be used as the article date. So unless you see anything that specifically shows the date, we'll call that a no date. Okay, so we'll go back here. We'll change this to Shields, comma, space, J. You only use the initial. And the date is little n period, little d period, which stands for no date, parentheses, period. Then we're going to the title, which is, I can get to it, How to Be Successful in College. Hint, it's not your study skills or IQ. All right, it's a long one. Let's start. So how, oh, actually, let me change that to italics. This is a web article, so it needs to be on italics. How to be successful in college. And then the hint, it's not your study skills. That would be a subtitle. So I'm going to capitalize that. Let me make sure that I did that correctly. It's not your, oh, study skills or IQ. Got that backwards. Okay, and I want to point out that this is in italics because it's a web article, not an article in a periodical, a magazine, or journal. Also, I use sentence case here, which means I only capitalize the first letter of the title, or I would also include the first letter of a subtitle. And this one's a little strange, so I think the hint would be part of a subtitle, and then the it's probably also. And then IQ would be capitalized because it's an abbreviation that's always capitalized. And if there were other proper nouns, they would be as well. All right, this is a web article, so we need to put the website, which was college, oops, no italics for the website. College Study Smarts, period, space, and then I would need the URL. So I'm just going to copy that and put that here, and then hit enter. So now I have my first source. The next source was by Nick Morrison. So I'm going to start with his last name, comma, space, and just his first initial. This one I think had a date. Yes, January 29, 2020. So 2020, comma, January 29, period. This article is from Forbes. So even though I'm online, Forbes is a magazine. This is one of many articles in the Forbes. So I will still use sentence case, but I will not italicize it. And this one is, it's GPA's not standardized tests that predict college success. So it's GPA, not standardized tests that predict college success. I'm not sure I got that right. Yeah. So notice that I use the sentence case, no italics. Next comes the periodical, which would be in italics. So Forbes would be in italics. Since this is the online version, I don't know what the volume or issue is. So the only other thing I will use is the web address. So Forbes period, and then copy that URL and hit enter. Now, I have these two sources listed, but they are not in alphabetical order, so they need to be. So I'm going to cut the Shields article and paste that underneath the Morrison article. All right, let's look at our reading view, and we can see our title page. We can see the beginning of our essay, and then we can see our references page, and the page number moves up consecutively as we go through the document. Hopefully that will get you started on setting up APA in Word 365.